Hi everyone, welcome to DIY Ideas. So today I have something lovely to show you. As you can see, we have a headband here in a really lovely pearl pattern. And it has a little twist here, so you're going to learn how to do both of these things at the same time. So I'm going to show you the needles that I used, and today we are knitting. So these are 6mm needles, and yeah, apart from that, I also used one spool of this lovely wool. So I'll show you what I have. Let's get started. Okay, you guys, so here is my yarn, and it is super thick, as you can see. So this is from Rico Design, and this is originally for a 10mm hook or 10mm needles, but I'm using 6mm ones today, and you'll see what that does with the yarn. So this is 50% virgin wool and 50% acrylic. I'm really sorry that I lost the label, but you can see what it looks like, and it is from Rico Design if you want to find it. So yeah, let's get started right away. Apart from that, I have something to measure with, my needles for crocheting, and yeah, these have the 2 points on both sides, and that's the kind I'm using. So let's get started. First, we're going to do 10 stitches. Two, 5, 8, so 2 more, 9, and 10. And since we have such thick yarn, this is going to be exactly the number of stitches that we're going to need. If you do a thicker yarn, you might need a little bit more stitches. But yeah, you can see here the effect, and it has a pretty nice width, so we're going to keep going with the 10. Okay, so let's take the other needle as well, and now we're going to switch this up. I'll move the ball to this side just so it's easier to work with. And yeah, the first stitch I'm just going to transfer onto my working needle, and then the second one I'm going to do a knit stitch. The third one is going to be a purl stitch. And from this point on, we're just going to keep changing between knit stitch and then purl stitch, and then again knit and again purl. Almost done. And the last one we always do knitwise. And yeah, now we already have our yarn on the other needle, what was our working needle, so we're going to switch this up. And now we're going to start the same way, so we're just transferring the first stitch onto our working needle, which is always the empty one, so to speak. And yeah, now we see here a knit stitch on the bottom, which means that we're doing a purl stitch on top. And the next one is a purl stitch, so all we're doing is doing a knit stitch on top, which means that whenever you see one stitch, you do the opposite one on top of it. And you just keep changing like that. There we go, this one is a knit stitch, and the last one we always do knitwise regardless of what we did in the last row. So that way we get a really nice edge, and that's why we're just transferring the first stitch and always doing the last one knitwise. Okay, so now we're again doing knit, purl, so again the opposite of what you see on the bottom. And now I'm going to do this for about a half of the length of my entire headband, and I'm gonna do a total length of 50 centimeters because that's what I need. You might need to do a little bit more or a little bit less. And And yeah, so the entire length is going to be 50 centimeters. Of course, we're going to kind of fold it in half and put it all together into a headband shape. That's what we want in the end. But yeah, we're going to have a total of 50 centimeters, which means about 25 is what the width of the headband is going to be when we connect the end and the beginning. And yeah, we're finishing off this row, and then we're going to start the next one the exact same way. And yeah, the ends we always do knitwise, or we transfer the first one without doing anything, and the last stitch is always a knit stitch. That way we get really nice and even edges without the wavy effect. And it's the same thing throughout the entire piece, so it's just doing the opposite stitch of the one you see on the bottom. So you can already see the pearls after just a couple of rows, and yeah, I'll do a little bit more and then I'm going to show you what I have. Okay, so we have now 50 centimeters of length, and this is what you see. And now what we want to do is the twist. So for that, we're going to finish off the first 5 stitches. So we're doing them the exact same way, the opposite of what you see on the bottom. Okay, and now we're kind of gonna switch these two sides. So we're gonna turn it like this. And then the thread is gonna go onto this right side. There we go. So the ones that were on the right, the stitches on the right, are gonna go onto the left. And we're basically just switching the two halves, so just kind of placing the right half onto the left side and the left half onto the right side. And here's the thread that we're working with, so we're just continuing the same way. It's a little bit weird, but that's what we want to do. So we're just transferring everything to the one needle, that way we get everything on one, and we can continue just like nothing happened. Okay, so I think you can already see it a little bit. So you see the twist here, which is the half of it, and all of the stitches are right here. And yeah, now I'm just going to finish off this round just so we kind of fix it and it stays in place. And we're again doing the same thing, so I'm looking here, and this one was a knit stitch, so we're doing a purl on top. And we're still doing the same thing, so we do the opposite of what we see. Now I'm here on the other side, or the other half, and I'm just continuing as I always have without doing anything weird. Although it looks weird, we just continue as if this was just a regular row, like all the ones so far. And yeah, just make sure that you take a little bit of time here and be patient, because it might be a little bit tricky to get it going, but after you finish this first row, it's actually going to work wonderful, so just like before, and you get the awesome twist that we were talking about without having to do any weird steps. So you basically just transfer the 5 stitches onto the opposite side of where they were, and that's all you need to do. And from this point on, we're just going to continue with the regular rows, just like so far. So we're doing the opposite of the stitch that we see, and that's it. And yeah, now we want the full 50 centimeters. So far it was just 25, the 1/2, and now we're doing the other half, and then we're gonna connect it. And the connecting part is gonna be on the back of your head when you wear the headband. I'll do a couple more rows and then I'm gonna show you what I have and how the twist is developing. Okay, so I continued for a little bit and you can see here what the twist looks like. And yeah, the cool thing is you have a little hole here in between. So that's due to the twisting and the stitches that we turned. But apart from that, you see how lovely this looks on the sides as well with the pearl pattern. So now what we want to do is connect it so that it actually has a headband shape, or so that it's actually in a loop. So in order to do that, we first need to cast our stitches off of the needle. So I'm going to show you how you can do that, and it's really simple. So the first stitch, we're just going to transfer onto a working needle, so just like when we're starting a regular row. There we go. The next one we're going to do purlwise, and then the first one goes over the second one so that we have just one loop left over on our working needle. And then the next one we do the exact same way. And yeah, just make sure that you do the exact opposite of the stitch that you see. That stays the same here, and we're just casting them off so that we get everything off of our needles. Okay, there we go, that's it. And now we can get to the connecting part. So this yarn we're gonna pull out, but we don't need the entire length, so we're gonna shorten it here a little bit longer than usual, just so we have enough to connect the two ends. So pull out, tighten a little bit, and that's it. Now we can get to the connecting. So I love using a darning needle for this. Of course, you can do this any other way, but I find that this really makes it faster and easier. And yeah, all that we're gonna do now is go through the one stitch on the one side and the one stitch on the other side, just so we have both, and then we just pull through, and that's it. And since we have 10 stitches in each row, this means we're gonna repeat this for 10 times, and then we're gonna have our finished headband. And yeah, let me finish this really quickly, and then I'm going to show you the entire headband. So I'm here on the other side, and now what I want to do is tie a knot here, and I actually always tie a double knot, but this is completely up to you. And yeah, tighten that, and you have on the other side, it's a little bit visible, the connecting section, but I don't think it's too bad, and it's also on the back of your head, so the lovely twist is in the front, and that's all that's visible. So yeah, I hope you guys like the way this looks. I love the twisted section because it just gives it a bit more texture and depth. And yeah, let me know what you think and how yours turned out. If you decided to do more stitches or less, maybe you have other methods how you do these twists. So feel free to let me know about all of that in our comment section. So you see this one just kind of flows from the one side to the other, and then the other side kind of goes to the back. You see the lovely edge, and this is due to the just transferring the stitch at the beginning and just doing a knit stitch at every last stitch of every row. This is all for today, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to shoot a thumbs up to let me know that you did. If you'd like to see more of my videos, feel free to click on the subscribe button and click on the notification bell. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye!